Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SWBL podcast special episode of the Captain Interviews, where it's not Brian Benware hosting, it's myself, Commissioner Sam Skibbe, hosting the captain of the Astros, Mr. Brian Benware. Today we are presented by 1356 Public House, as always, our presenting sponsor for the past many seasons, including this season, season 22. Brian is the captain of the Astros, has been for many, many years as the Astros continue to look for that first playoff win. I'm sure we'll get into that as we head in to the 2024 season. Brian, thanks for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thanks for hosting, Sam. Getting a little break from that. But it's always fun to be on the other end of it. I get to do it once a year and it's awesome. So just looking forward to actually getting to talk about my team and focus on them for a little bit. So
And we talk all the time. We thank you all the time for doing all of these podcasts and hosting all of these too. And you have done a great job so far with the ones that have been released. And I know there's like a few more to be released after this as well. But we thank you for hosting these. But yes, you're right. It's sometimes nice to be on the other end of the podcast and get to answer the questions that I've asked them. So I'm sure you're sick of asking the same old questions over and over again.
yeah, it can get it's hard to think of new stuff year
Yeah.
over year, but yeah, it's always fun to hang out with you too. So yeah,
While the
just excited for the night.
questions may not change, but the years definitely do. And every year we say the same thing, Brian. It seems like the mantra of the SWBL every year seems to get more and more competitive. With that being said, the Astros have really done a bit of a transition in the past many years where your roster size and your roster makeup has become more and more competitive. And what I mean by that is it seems like you're shrinking and it seems like playing time is becoming more competitive. Let's break down your roster a little bit here as we go along. Yourself, the captain, the manager, and then seemingly going to get a few more swings and maybe some more playing time. We'll find out in this podcast and this season. And you also have returning with you have Cam Smith and Cole Layton, who were the 13th and 14th ranked players on the top 22 list, back to back for you all. And then you had Jimmy Stout, who just missed the cut for you all. And then just a recent surprise or a recent announcement, I guess we can make, is Caleb Schweigert will be there the entire season for
Ooh,
the SWBL Astros. He is an exciting young rookie, the National Rookie of the Year for all of wiffle ball. Just the
he
second person.
go ahead.
Yeah, yes, the National Rookie of the Year. I guess you didn't see the Twitter of all that, but
No,
excitement for
sorry.
sure.
I've been off social media for a while, so
Yeah,
I did not see that. Last I knew he had been nominated, then I checked out.
yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah, congratulations to Caleb again. He was and a lot of it was for his play in MoWIF, obviously, but a lot of that also had to do with his play with the SWBL Cardinals in the NWLA tournament. So, Caleb Schweiger definitely getting his due diligence in his first year of playing competitive wiffle ball, the National Rookie of the Year for National Wiffle. Just the second SWBL player to win the award behind, do you remember who the other one was?
It would be Corey McCarthy.
It was Corey McCarthy, the
Yeah.
national. Ty Butler was nominated but did not win because that was the same year as Tyler Flackney.
Oh yeah, we know who that
And
guy is.
and then they ended up being teammates together too. So kind of a fun fact for you. But yes, Caleb Schweigert does return, and you have a five-man roster, and it looks a little
Hmm.
bit different. You don't have David Olderman anymore. He signed with the White Sox. He got a bit of a different view for this upcoming year with a different team. But let's talk about your roster. Break it down. This is the smallest roster you've had in quite a while.
Yeah, it might be the smallest roster we've ever had. I can't say definitively, but it feels like six has been the main number, and we've gotten up to seven before. So yeah, this is smaller,
Yeah.
but I like the way it's kind of worked out. Obviously, we are gonna miss David. We wish him nothing but the best, and we would have loved to have him back. But yeah, I'm excited for the way that this roster has kind of worked out. I have a lot of faith in our guys. We've got guys who have kind of earned some more playing time, guys who have sort of solidified their roles. But the guys also know, like, hey, if you slump, I'm gonna make a change if I have to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good or bad. Sometimes it can be bad putting pressure on players like that and not letting them get out of a slump. But at the same time, um, I think it also drives the guys. They want to stay on the field and they want to keep playing. So they try to perform.
Yeah, the rumor, was when Caleb wasn't going to be in attendance for most of the season, he was just going to be there for maybe the first game, maybe the first few, but he might not be there the whole season. So the rumor was there was going to be a draft. You were going to draft someone,
Hmm.
and when he decided to join, you stuck with the five. And obviously that means, like you said, if somebody does slump, it's going to be either you stepping up or Caleb stepping up to get more at bats. Seemingly Cam, Cole, and Jimmy keep their role. So is there something you want to mention or something you want to list, give the viewers any type of view? You face off against the Orioles, the defending champs, for your first game of the year.
Hmm.
Anything, any opening day announcements for your starting roster?
Um, it's not set in stone yet, but the way I'm leaning right now is to basically ride with the same top three as last year,
Yeah,
same order. And then I'm gonna step into that four hole.
nice.
I've had spot at bats here and
Yeah,
there. Seems like, we're either down or I'm just trying to change something and I come in and I've been lucky to hit home runs in those moments.
yep,
And um, the guys have been trying to encourage me to hit more. I know a lot of the guys in the league have been saying, "Hey, give yourself more at bats," and I've been, I try to balance the good of the team, but it's been hard to sit and watch the last few years as much as I have, and kind of feel like, I've earned it, and I'm also humble enough that if I don't do well, I've got faith in Caleb to come in.
yeah,
Caleb's still going to play. He's going to be our right fielder at all the time. So our fielding is set. Um, and then, yeah, Cam and Jimmy will switch off pitching, and then we might even see if we can find some innings or something with for Caleb as a
sure.
three. So,
Well, and I know you mentioned, you getting your shot, and we'll talk about the past 2 years. You've had six at bats in both of those years, and last year hitting 500 with two home runs. And it seems like you're getting home runs in big situations against big name players. So
mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see with a bigger sample size if that can continue with you. And you did mention the pitching, and that was going to be my next question. Rotation, obviously, losing Olderman. Olderman had a fantastic regular season for you all.
Mhm.
We'll talk about playoffs, I'm sure, a few times in this podcast, but obviously he started off a little rocky, no pun intended, for against the
Yeah.
Rockies. But you guys stuck in there very well, and it seemed like once David came out of the game, it seemed like Cam held them pretty well for the
Mhm.
rest of the game there, but it was just a little too late. I'm sure David was a little bit bummed about that, but giving him the start, I do think was the right decision. He had such a great regular season. His stuff was really moving the way he wanted it to. But are you excited to see Jimmy Stout kind of step up and take that number two? Because he's no slouch himself. I mean, he had probably the lowest ERA that you could have in a one game scenario, but he didn't qualify for the ERA, to
Right.
be the leader in ERA, but he technically was the leader in ERA.
Yeah. Yeah, that game, the way it came about too was just awesome because we were sitting there and, I'm sitting here getting, our standard lineup together and everything. And um, it wasn't my idea to put him in. It was Cam and David's. They ran up to me and said, "Hey, let's pitch Jimmy. He, there's something, he's ready. He wants it." And I was like, if you're both wanting this, you go tell him. And they ran over there and he was so pumped and he pitched great.
He
And
did.
that's why, obviously, like I said, we loved David, having David. It certainly made my job as a manager for pitching very easy. Um, but Jimmy came in and pitched great, and you're right, he's no slouch. And so I'm excited to see him take a bigger role back on the mound. It's been a while since he's been kind of a staple. Even with the Brewers, they had pitching, so it wasn't like he pitched a whole lot, but he did pitch more. And so now he's really going to get a chance to kind of show what he can be for, a number two, splitting time with Cam, and being a full-time pitcher.
Yeah. And I guess the last facet of the game is fielding. And you know how fielding has, been a little bit more mainstream, I'd say, in people's
Hmm.
minds about how important it is. It used to be not as important. Hitting used to be the number one thing, but now pitching and fielding are really starting to creep up on the hitting side. And you said your fielders are set. Obviously, Cole Layton, who is a former Platinum Hands winner, and then Caleb Schweigert. In the regular season, Caleb had 0 errors, and then
Yeah.
in that playoff game had two. So I don't know
Yeah.
if the bright lights got to him or whatever it was, but he had a fantastic regular season, kind of like how Olderman did too. And we'll get to that playoff, that blunder that might have happened. It seemed like everything hit at once. But I was
Yeah.
going to go back to Cole too, and Cole had 3 errors last season.
Yeah.
So it was a down year for him after having two stellar seasons in left field. But do you expect him to bounce back, and do you think it's going to shore it up for your defense?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm so confident in Cole. To be honest, I should have moved him to left field long before I ever did. I had him in right field his rookie year, and while he made great plays there too, and gave me a lot of confidence there, the left field is just, he's super solid. And
Yeah,
he gives our pitchers confidence. I mean, you've been there, you know how that feels to just know you can trust your left fielder.
yeah,
If I can just get a ground ball, we should be fine. Or if I can get a pop up, we'll be fine. So yeah, having him there just helps us and helps the team. And yeah, I have all the confidence in the world in him. And like you said, Caleb played great. I think he is somebody who, as a rookie, you're not really watching him, especially in the field, and he wasn't
yeah,
getting a lot of hits, so he wasn't getting a lot of kind of shine when it comes to rookie of the year voting within our league. Um, but yeah, he played great. He's athletic. He's young. And so having those two guys there is just going to help, Cam and Jimmy.
yeah,
And then Cam, let's not forget Cam was nominated
yeah,
for Gold Glove at pitcher too.
yeah.
So yeah, he's a
He
solid
wasn't just
fielder.
nominated, he won. He won Gold Glove for
That's right.
pitcher.
That's right.
So he was
Sorry, Cam.
he had a fantastic year on the mound fielding wise, no errors for him.
Yeah, we'll see where
So
we get ranked on the. Somehow we always end up with a C minus for grades, and our fielding is going to be
yeah.
good, and we'll still be a C minus. So
It is interesting, when all the grades come out, it's going to be really interesting. That fielding thing, I don't think people really, dive deep into it. Will we see the Twins and Rockies on the top again just because Chris
yeah.
Meadow and Brian Kenny are there when you should dive into like the past couple of years and see the trends that are happening. So it'll be interesting to see where the Astros land on that list.
Hmm.
And let's transition a little bit, do a little transition here from season 21 onto season 22. And I'll do that transition by going back to 2020. Back in
Okay.
2020 is when the Astros really cemented themselves as, hey, we're a contender. For the first 4 years of the franchise, the highest total wins was two. It was
Yeah.
1 win, 2 wins for the first 4 years. You're really trying to find that roster. And once you got to 2020, you kind of cemented like, hey, we're here to stay. We're here to contend. We're here to push for a playoff spot or get into the playoffs and really knock somebody out. You went 4-6 in 2020, 6-4 in 2021, 4-6 in 2022, and 6-4 last year in 2023. Obviously, you are going to probably say the trend is going to die right now this year. But are you a little scared of the trend? 4-6, 6-4, back and forth. That trend keeps going back and forth here.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier today actually, on the website, and I guess I hadn't remembered. I knew we had kind of been around that 500 the last few years, and we had won a division even though we were 6-4. Um, and I hadn't really thought about it, and then I was like, man, that would mean like we're due for a 4-6 year, and I don't want to be that team looking out. So yeah, I think we break it. I mean, it seems like different traditions have been, or different legacies have been broken. We've talked about the
Yeah,
Skibbe curse
yeah,
being
number one.
broken for
Yeah.
sure because the last 2 years you both have won the championship. So and you've both been in the championship both times. So I think that I think that things are changing, but we've just got to stay focused one game at a time.
Yeah. And I feel like your team does a really good job at that because you're in every game. You feel like you can win every game. So it's going to be exciting to see where the Astros land and if they break that trend. But it's going to be tough to do. And here's
Hmm.
why, Brian, because we had the division draw. We hosted it at 1356 Public House. And your division, brought to you by the Corner Pub and Grill, the Corner Pub division, you have the toughest division on paper. I mean,
Hmm.
it is the Twins who are perennial playoff team, perennial top three team. They've won more championships than you can count between Twins and Phillies. They have Chris Metter on their team, one of the most decorated wiffle ball players of all time, not just from our league, but from forever, from any league. And you have the White Sox also in yours, which is a tier three team that nobody really wanted in their division. And I don't think anybody really wanted you all as the number two seed either, in the two spot for their division. So it's just tough all around. Twins, Astros, White Sox. But, what's your expectation going into this division? What's your team mindset going into these division games? Because, I mean, that's 4 games out of your schedule, basically half your schedules against this tough corner pub division.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It definitely was not a division I wanted to draw. I mean, I don't think it mattered as much who we got in the top tier. Um, in fact, I think we were the only team last year to beat all three top tier teams.
Wow.
So we did beat the Yankees in their first game. We did beat the Twins in our only game, and then we split with you guys. So um, that gives us a boost. That gives us some confidence. I mean, we're confident we can play and beat anybody. We have yet to actually ever beat the White Sox. They're new, so it's not like we've had a lot of opportunities, but one year they really took it to us. So I think it'll be interesting to see how we play the White Sox. I think
Yeah.
those games are going to be pivotal. If you were to look and say, okay, well, who are the teams fighting for the wild card if you're just going to slot the top three teams in again, which most people will do, though I don't think necessarily that it needs to be as comfortable as people are going to make it out to be. Um, I think, you got the Rockies, the Marlins, the Astros, and the White Sox really kind of cemented into that wild card conversation.
Yeah.
The A's are knocking on the door, and we'll see with their roster this year how they perform. But and the Expos have done it before. I'm not going to kind of put them in that conversation right now, but um, that makes those games, those 2 games against the White Sox, super important. Um, I think if we can, split with both of those teams, and then
Call it a win.
either win out with the 4 other tiers, tier 2 and tier 3 teams, great. Or if we can even steal one from one of the other top 2 teams, or yeah, and then we'll be okay. But
Yeah.
it's like I said, I think the mindset is really we can beat anybody, we can play with anybody, we just have to play our game. And the bigger thing is we can't dig ourselves a hole. That's been our downfall, is when we get behind, we can start to shut people down, but if our bats can't get going, it's hard
Yeah.
for us to claw back in.
So, you talk about those holes and how you don't want to, put yourself in those holes. But when you look at your schedule, you are a
Hmm.
little bit front loaded, with when it comes to some of the tiers that you'll be playing. Obviously, you have that game three is what it's going to be, but it'll be the first game played of the season, but it won't be shown until the Thursday before.
Yeah.
It'll be the fully edited game against the Orioles. So you have the Orioles in game one. Then you have the White Sox, a division game after that on opening day. So it's
Hmm.
going to be another tough one. And then the Twins to start off your game. And then the Yankees. I mean, that's your first 4 games of your schedule where you could easily go 0 and 4, or it could catapult you all into confidence if you even go 2 and 2. I mean, even
Hmm.
is 1 and 3 a win at that point?
I mean, I wouldn't say 1-3 is a win. I think if you're sitting there after 4 games, realizing you've got 6 left and you're at 1-3, you're feeling like you got a
It's
lot of
tough.
work to
Yeah.
do. Even looking at the schedule, saying, okay, hey, we've still got the Expos, the Marlins, the Athletics coming up, um, and we have maybe higher shots, or we're through the tougher teams, maybe. Um, but I don't think you want to be that. I think maybe 2-2. Yeah, I mean, but last year again, we started off 3-1, um, beating the Yankees, beating, who else do we beat? The A's, and then some of maybe the Twins, and then we had lost to the Orioles. So I think we were feeling good, and then we went through a terrible stretch where we didn't win anything and had to make
Yeah.
make it harder on ourselves. But yeah, it's a tough start, but again, if we just focus one game at a time, um, I think we'll have a good shot to come out of there 500 or maybe better.
Yeah, and that didn't even include your fifth game as the Rockies. So you're
Right,
facing all four playoff teams, four out of the five, and the White Sox were the other playoff team last year too. So
right,
the only one you're missing is the Marlins to have it all in a row. So
right.
it'll be definitely a front-loaded tough schedule. And then it's funny because there's the longer break on Saturday, and it almost
Hmm.
breaks up your schedule from the
It does,
harder
yeah,
part to your little bit. I don't want to say easier, but like it
yeah,
is on paper a little bit easier. So.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the Astros handle that. It's always fun to find the different schedule. Like I put the schedule together based off of, need from teams and trying to make sure they're spread out a little bit enough, adding breaks in for people, those kind of things. But then after it's all said and done, you find these trends that I didn't even know about until you look at the
Hmm.
schedule for them. So see that front loaded, it could either really hurt or really help the Astros in the end.
Yeah. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes, but I'm
for
excited
sure.
for it.
Which game out of all those do you have circled as a manager as this is my game that's a must win? This is the one I have circled that we really want to put our heart and soul. I don't know you put your heart and soul in all those games, but
Hmm.
this is the one that you really, really want.
Man, um, I think I, out of those first 4 or 5 games, I'd say, man, it'd be the White Sox or the Rockies. I let's just go with the White Sox because of the division
Division.
and the
First
importance
division
of
game.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Opening
again
day.
opening day. It's the only team we have yet to record a win with. Um, and so yeah, I think that, and then with the way the White Sox schedule breaks out too, that they have most of their games are in the last 2 days
Yeah,
of the weekend. So if we can get that win, then they got to sit there and think about it for a while.
sure.
So I think that mostly just from the division standpoint, and really just to kind of launch us. Last year was the first year we'd ever won on opening day. Um, and so just kind of propel us into Saturday with a win, even if that just means we're 1-1 if we've already lost to the Orioles or not. But yeah, that I think can give you some momentum going into Saturday.
Yeah, and you've been in the Orioles and A's division past 2 years, and
Hmm.
this will be the first time that neither of them are in your division anymore. And you're going to be facing off against the Orioles' first game, and what a amazing not only a month of May if you win that Orioles game. The next 3 weeks you're riding high, and then you win
Hmm.
opening day. You go with 1356 Public House that night, feeling really good about your chances of not only making playoffs but making a push. So.
For sure.
I'm sure the Astros will be doing their damnedest to make sure that they put them in that position. And like you said, you finish those 5 games 3-2 with a winning record, you're in a good spot for sure.
Yeah. Who are you guys pitching on that game three?
That's I guess you'll have to find out when you show up.
Jeez.
Maybe you can get
We're gonna have orange slices for the teams.
absolutely. It's the
We
Orange Bowl.
should.
You got it
It's the
in a
Orange Bowl.
bowl that's
Yeah.
orange, maybe. Winner takes them home. Loser
Nice.
has to watch the others eat the oranges. Anyway, so let's talk about the power rankings. Obviously, these podcasts are coming out in power ranking order, preseason power ranking order, but we don't know as of now sitting here, we don't know where the power rankings are going to end up. So it's going to be interesting. But where will you get ranked in the power rankings for preseason? Where do you think you will get ranked? And then where do you think, as the manager of the Astros, you should be ranked?
Um,
And this is overall, because we could do
yeah,
fielding, offense,
yeah.
pitching, but let's just overall.
I think that I think we'll get put fifth. I think we'll be fifth. Um, and I think fifth is fair.
Same playoff
Um,
teams, probably.
yeah, I think so. Again, the White Sox are so dangerous, and but they've got some new faces, and we'll see how that all kind of works out, how John manages the roster again, and if some of their cornerstone players can kind of have a turnaround year, obviously it makes it that much harder. So not to necessarily count them out. I just think there's more unknown with them for the voters as compared to us. The Rockies are coming off of a huge bounce back year, so I
Yeah.
don't see how. And they've got the reigning Cy Wiffle Award winner. They've got a
Yeah.
guy
And they
who's
added to
always,
their offense too. So
yeah, yeah, and Jason having a great year. Blake is, consistently good. Um, Always kind of is in the conversation at some point, mentioned with the MVP stuff. BK is a great fielder. So, and they've won before. So I think, it was easy to maybe put them below other teams going into last year after the, 2 years ago season going 2-8. But after last year, I think that, they've earned the right to be up there in the top four. So I think fifth makes sense. People also might choose the Marlins over us. But I just think that, being in the playoffs last year, I think that's where that will land. And I think that's fair.
Okay. Now, obviously, hearing you talk about that, I won't make you predict your own division because obviously, if you're predicting yourself fifth, that means you're not predicting yourself to be a division winner. But let's talk about the other.
I'm predicting power rankings,
Okay,
not
okay.
necessarily who
All
actually
right.
wins.
Well, then, we'll still skip your division because I won't
Yeah,
make you
okay.
put you on the spot with that one. But let's go with Cardinal Blinds in division first. Cardinal Blinds and Shutters division. We have the Orioles, the Rockies, and the A's. So the Orioles and Rockies, a lot of connections there. Got the brothers Brett and Blake going against each other. A lot of MoWIF connections with those Rockies and Orioles crews. And then you have the Athletics, who the Orioles and Athletics for the third year in a row in the same division. So who do you have taken the Cardinal Blinds division?
Yeah, I have the Orioles in that one. I just think I mean, respect the champs and the uh the pedigree's there, the players are there. It's hard to pick against them. There's really, in my opinion, only one team better than them potentially, and it's, a coin flip on a day. And so I'm gonna go with the Orioles.
And then I guess that means the Ketting Ice Center division, you're picking the Yankees then.
No, the Expos.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah,
that. Yeah,
no, yeah,
that's what I thought you were talking about.
yeah, yeah. No, yep, the Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees, Marlins, Expos, the same division for the Ketting Ice Center coming back.
Yeah.
Another same division that we've had. So the only team that switched were the Rockies and the Astros for divisions this year. So we'll see how that plays out in season 22. You have the Orioles, you have the Yankees. I didn't make you pick a division winner for Corner Pub, but pick for me the other three playoff spots in your prediction mind for season 22. So you have the Orioles in, you have the Yankees in. Obviously, somebody from Corner Pub has to be in yours, but who are going to be the last three playoff spots for me for your prediction?
Um, I think I'm gonna go Rockies, Astros, and yeah, I think I'm gonna stick
Twins.
with last year Twins.
So it's the same as last year. Okay. So
Yeah,
then let's change the question because that was too boring of an answer.
yeah. Sorry.
Which team is most likely not to return to the playoffs in season 22?
Oh man. Most likely not to.
Or who's going to have
Um,
the toughest road to
I
get
think we
to?
have the toughest road. I think when you consider who I mean, your division's only as strong as your tier three team, and we have the toughest
Strongest one.
three
Yeah.
team. So I think we have the toughest road. I think the Yankees have an easy road. Um, and so I don't know. I think aside from us, because I think it would still be us until we, really. I mean, we are already competing, but until we get over that hump of winning more games than just that we're in them. I think if
Yeah.
that's gotta we've got to get beyond, hey, we're in these games. It's got to be we win these games. Um,
Yeah.
but aside from us, I think that the Twins have the next hardest road. So, um, I think that you could make a case that any of those three teams could win that division.
Yeah.
I think, which means that the Twins position is not as solidified as it's been. I also think I can't remember what was their record last year, 6-4.
Correct. 6-4,
So
tied with the Rockies in their
yeah,
division, and
yeah,
then they had the tiebreaker against the Rockies
right.
to win.
So it's not like they're coming off of a 7-3, 8-2, in the championship, but lost kind of position that they've always been in. Um, So I think, I mean, you still have great players, three amazing cornerstones, and then you've got an underrated pitcher, in my opinion. And Will, I know he's been getting more love lately, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think the road is a little bit tougher for the Twins than it's been in years past, and so I would actually put them kind of there, maybe 1B behind us.
Okay. Yeah, I like that because we haven't had so far a time when all three teams make a division. I may take that back. Did the Expos year when they won? Oh no, that's because we only had four teams in every division. So no, never mind. So we've never had in the franchise era somebody make it
Hold
when we've
on,
had the nine.
the year they won was when we had the 8 teams and the Braves were in it.
Correct.
So they didn't even win a championship with all 9 teams in the league.
They did not.
So is there an asterisk
I
on
think
that
that
trophy?
if any team has an asterisk next to their championship, it's got to be the Expos right now.
All right.
Um, Love that they won. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, me
And
too.
it was fun for the league, but yes, they couldn't do it with nine teams. They had to do it with
Yeah,
eight. So they
that's
needed that extra one.
never realized that. But anyway, yeah, it's well, yeah, we've never had all 3 teams from a division.
No,
It is possible we say it, but it's so hard.
it's very hard. You almost have to split, and then you got to clean up the rest of the divisions, which is hard to do when there's so many tier one and tier two teams, and even tier three that can make a pull and all of a sudden get a win on a hot pitching night. So
Yeah.
it's going to be exciting to see how it plays out with all the divisions and if any of your predictions do come true. But let's move on to our hard hitters, the rapid fire round. Brian, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions here. And then after that, we're going to play a little extra game that I have planned for you as well.
Okay.
That I truly believe no other team or manager could do besides you. Maybe there's a few more teams that could, but I think you'll have the best answer. So let's go through the rapid fire ones first. Are you ready? No, maybe a quick explanation or no explanation, but just rapid fire. See what you got. Ready?
Yep.
Final record for the Astros in season 22.
6-4.
Who is the team MVP for you?
Cam Smith.
If you could describe your team as a TV show, what TV show would it be?
Uh, um, New girl.
That's a good one. Oh, who's that girl? All right. Who will lead the league in home runs in season 22?
Ooh, let's pick somebody fun. Nope, nope, nope. We're gonna go with. Oh no, not him either.
This is not rapid fire.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to pick a good one. I don't want to pick somebody. Kevin Foley.
Love that pick. And honestly, it was in my mind. Like you wanted a fun pick. That's the one you should go with. I was going with Kevin or Sam Bakula, one of the Yankees for sure. All right. Least favorite team the Astros play against.
Ooh. Um, Least favorite team. I think it's the Rockies. I mean, I love all those guys. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it to come off wrong.
Oh yeah.
They're they're just so annoying. Like he takes so many walks. That drives me crazy. Um, and yeah,
Small
Chad's
ball,
great.
get on
Chad's
base.
great. It's hard to get it past BK.
Yeah.
He takes hits away. They're just they kind of grind
Annoyingly
your
always there.
yeah,
Oh
they kind of
yeah.
grind your gears a little bit. So
They definitely play that small ball mentality, that whitey ball that you could say
yeah.
from the St. Louis
I
Cardinals
mean, when
past.
you get
So
into inning 5 and they've got like 10 walks, you're like, come on, this is wiffle ball. Swing the bat.
what's the Astros' favorite team tradition?
Beer darts.
Okay, what about besides beer darts? Anything else you want to tell the viewers?
Um,
Anything you all do that maybe people don't know about? You seem to get
no, I
together as a
mean,
team preseason a few times.
we do that. We need to do it more. I've kind of slacked a lot lately after we had Brewer. Just timing wise is tough, but we are planning to get together before the season. We used to hit around a little bit, and that's kind of died off. But we get together and hang out, have some beers, and catch up with each other on life. And yeah, I think the other fun thing that we do is, just having our families around each other, girlfriends, people coming in. We've even
Yeah.
had, you know, I know people bring a lot of friends, but on our team, it's not none of us really grew up with you
Yeah.
guys. So,
Yeah.
the people BK and Brett invite you've known since you were 5 or whatever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
our friends don't really know anybody there. So we've had a few friends start rolling in more often just to come check it out. And so that's been fun. And yeah,
Your
we
tradition. Yeah.
yeah, that's a nice thing.
All right. Who will lead the league in strikeouts as a hitter?
Ooh. Jim Nelson.
Will Jimmy Nelson also lead the league in strikeouts for the sixth year in a row as a pitcher?
Logic says yes, but I'm gonna say no.
And who would you pick?
Oh boy, who was second last year? You?
Uh,
No.
me, Chad, Brett, we're up there, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I'll go
maybe
with
Will.
uh I'll go with Brett.
Okay. And then who wins the championship in season 22?
Astros.
All right. Love the answer. Love the confidence. 6-4, getting into the playoffs could be enough to win the division, honestly. 6-4, putting yourself in that spot. Like you said, you could front load those wins and really have a good season and maybe even get a better record than 6-4, the best record in Astros history. All right, All right, Brian, let's transition into a game that I have for you. And I will tell you, out of all the franchises in SWBL history, the Astros have maybe the most, if not tied for the most, franchise alumni.
Yeah, no
So here's
kidding.
what I want you to do. You are the manager of this all-time Astros roster, okay? You have to pick 4 players and only one of them can be on your current roster. So you have to pick 3 other players that you want to be on your team to join you as the fifth. And then I want you to add a free agent of anybody you'd like to add in the Astros in the future. So you're making up a team. So there's going to be
6 players,
Yep,
including myself.
you're the first one, and then you're going to do an all-time fantasy draft of Astros players. So you got to pick one from your current roster, and then you can pick 3 players from any of your franchise alumni. If you'd like me to go through them, I will just for everybody, the
Dude,
viewers out there. We got Zach Artem, who had a fantastic year for you that one year. Mark Bellis, Cam Branson, well, he was a cornerstone for 3 years for the Astros. John Callaway, some people may forget he played in 2021. Justin Gober, Chris Oberlor, Matt Pay, Jay Peters, Matt Rosner, Sam Rosner, the infamous Rob Walters, Jeremy Worrell, and Keaton Adams. So a lot of great names. You could still probably make a decent roster out of some of those players just by themselves. And then I forgot to mention Stephen Farkas as well. So he's on the list too. So that is your franchise
oh, I don't have to do
alumni.
that. Okay.
So, Brian, you're picking 3 franchise alumni, one from your current team, and one free agent you want to add to make the all-time fantasy Astros roster.
All right. So current player is I'm gonna pick Cole.
Okay,
Want a great left fielder,
smart.
and he's been really, really, really good at the plate. So, um,
Trending up too. Every year he gets better.
yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with common names for to start, just because it's easier.
Okay,
I'm gonna go John Callaway.
okay,
I'm gonna go Keaton Adams.
love it,
And then I'm gonna go Zach Artem.
love it. Bring him back.
Yeah, he was great that
He
year.
was great. He was great, and he's just a great guy too.
Yeah,
Would love to have that guy back.
yeah, yeah. So plus, Keaton right now is the only pitcher I have. So
So you need Zach too.
I need Zach. I need a
All right,
pitcher.
and then who is your free agent addition to the Astros?
That would be the person I've been trying to get on the Astros for however long I've been on a captain, and it's you. I would like to have you finally join the team.
That would be a fun roster for sure. Bring back Zach, and you're right. It would have Keaton, Zach, and I might be a three-headed monster. I could take on maybe the ace role, and then Keaton and Zach
Hmm.
can piece together some more innings. So it'd
Yeah.
be fun to see what that all-time Astros team could do in the orange.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yep. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining me tonight for your podcast, and thank you so much for doing all the other podcasts as well. I'll kind of turn it over to you to do the closing and talk about what's coming next, and thank all of our sponsors. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and thank you so much for doing not only all this great work the podcast, but great work for the front office and great work for our league. I appreciate you more than I think you know. So thank you so much for everything, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for hosting tonight. It's always fun to do this one with you. And I know you and I have done a few podcasts lately together. So it's nice to jump back on this one with you
Yep.
and kind of knock it out. So yeah, so to wrap it up, guys, first I want to thank our sponsors. Again, we're presented this year again by 1356 Public House. Our division sponsors are Cardinal Blinds and Shutters, Kenny Ice Center, and Corner Pub and Grill. Um, the We're also still sponsored by Spencer Gear, Chill Designs, and Breckx. We've got Four Hands, Logix, Johnny Pops returning, which I know the kids will be extremely excited about.
Yes,
And
for sure.
Everdolce Vita is our philanthropy sponsor again this year. Yeah, we've still got some more captain interviews coming out. We'll have our season preview, right before the league kicks off. We'll go through the power rankings, and I'm going to try to, if I can, get some special guests on. We're just, we're starting to get heavy, right? As we build into these last few weeks before the league actually kicks off. So we've got all that. And with that, Sam, thank you for doing this again. Thank you for the time and for leading us in this wonderful endeavor that is the Wiffle Ball League.
That's right. Of course. Thanks for doing this again. And Astros, anything else you want to say just from an Astros perspective as the captain?
No, I don't think so. I think I've said pretty much everything. I mean, I hope the guys know how much confidence I have in our team, how much fun I have playing with every one of you, how much I value what you bring, not only to our team, to the league, to my our friendships, um, and yeah, and looking forward to maybe even run rolling the Expos.
Well, by the time people listen to this, we would probably be weeks, if not days away from the first game of season 22. Our two teams will face off in the Orange Bowl. The Orioles and
Yes.
the Astros will face off, and we will know what happens, but everybody else won't find out till the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend. Thank you all for joining us. Brian, good luck to the Astros, and we'll see you next time, folks.
See ya.